The word scout has become synonymous with good deeds, merit badges, and camping. But in today's jaded world of shortened attention spans, electronics, and shrinking natural landscapes, it's hard to imagine that an organization like Scouts can survive. Scouting has been around for over 100 years. It began with a British Army officer named Robert Baden-Powell. The first camp took place in 1907, and the organization grew from there. Within a year, Scout groups emerged in Canada.
Most of the time, people still think of the idea of Scouts as the kid, who helps old ladies walk across the streets or sells cookies on corners. They don't really see Scouts as more of a social aspect. It's not really cool in a sense.
Normally when people think about Scouts, they don't think about just hanging around. They think more religious and more serious stuff like cadets or army type stuff. It's more just hanging around, having fun.
I think a lot of people look at it as we basically operate in church basements, and all we do is, tie knots and march in parades, and that's certainly not true.
I started out with the 10th Ajax group, which was a group that had been around for a long time, long history. And what ended up making the group close was lack of leadership. We couldn't get enough beaver leaders. We lost our beaver colony. And once you lose the beaver colony, you lose the kids coming up into the higher level groups. We kept it going as long as we could, but it's unfortunate when you start losing the volunteers, you can't keep running a program.
In 1965, Scouts Canada membership reached its peak at over 320,000 members. By 2008, membership had dropped by more than 2/3.
I think the biggest reason that scouting's declined over the last while is I think kids have a lot more choice in what their activities are now. It used to be when I was a kid, you had scouts or you had army cadets when you were a little older, but there wasn't really a lot of activities. But now you've got organized sports a lot more, you've got video games, you've got just so many other things that pull them in different directions.
Our family time is so scrunched already between school and all the different activities that people do. Kids are doing things, parents are doing things, and to find the time can be a challenge. And I think too, as parents, we tend to be, some of us anyways, a little kind of overprotective or more protective of our kids, and we don't know who these grown-ups are that are taking our kids. And we don't know where they're taking. What do you mean you're going to take my kids camping for the weekend? Are you crazy? I'm going to let you take my kid out in a tent? That can be one of the challenges.
Many Scout groups are holding firmly onto their traditions, but has the Scouting brand become stale?
I think there's certain traditions in an organization with over 100 years of history that are worth holding on to. I think there's also some traditions that are probably holding us back. There is a great deal being done right now to revitalize Scouting, to move us from the 19th century well into the 21st century. We have an ambitious action plan for Canadian Scouting called Scouting Now. We're reviewing all aspects of our program.
With the membership in decline, it's clear that the organization needs to update its identity.
I think if Scouts wants to improve their membership, they should do a lot more public advertising. I think the problem would be the stereotypes that are involved with Scouting. So what they could do is get people to know, hey, we're here, we're still open, and we want people to join us.
To help Scouts grow, I think they do have to cater towards getting volunteers into the organization. It really is the leadership, the parents, the people who volunteer to keep the groups running. If they could do something to attract parents, especially with the young kids, if they can get them to come along, once you've joined, you never want to leave, because you realize how much benefit your kids get, how much you grow as yourself, seeing all these kids grow around you. It's a great experience. I've enjoyed it.
To some Scout groups in big cities like Toronto, Moving away from the traditional image of Scouts is necessary to serve their community.
This is a really diverse community. The image of Scouting is working towards multi-faith, and we're working to include celebrations from all different cultures.
To be a part of the multicultural community, it's different, I would say. You get to learn other people's culture and beliefs.
It's in my opinion, a great experience to see all the different types of cultures and people coming together and working together in a little group. I think it's great.
So what is it that keeps people coming back? What is the appeal of Scouting?
When I was a youth, my dad was a Scout leader for probably about 16 years. And so I did stuff with my dad that, again, we probably wouldn't do if it was outside of Scouting. We spent 10 days in the mountains in Kananaskis, Alberta. And now, my two kids are actually in Scouting, so I'm doing things with them, basically that what my dad did with me.
Scouting has benefited my son significantly. He has a mild learning disability, and social interactions were the big thing. I've really noticed him come out of his shell. We've actually put him in a patrol leader role this year because he's gained the skills to work with other kids. It's amazing to see how much he's developed, and I think Scouting is a big part of that.
It's challenging for some youth who in the school systems and that where there's not enough funding, and when they have Asperger's or autism, there may not be the right attention and care and ratio of adults to youth that they really need. And so I find in Scouting, and we have a tendency to have the one-on-one time that those kids need sometimes.
My favorite memory would be hanging by the campfire late at night, looking up, seeing the stars, talking to people, and just sitting there and relaxing. So very quiet as well. So I think it's a very peaceful moment, and that would be my best memory.
We took our colony and our pack to a cabin, and we went to the cabin, and it was the only cabin that I'd ever been to as a youth. I only went to one overnight camp as a youth. And I went into that cabin, and I turned around and went, wow, I've been here before. I know this place. And it was like all these memories started coming back. And that's the most memorable event as both a youth and as an adult. And what makes it memorable as an adult is you think to yourself, these kids that I'm with today, when they get old, they're going to remember that about what we did, the kind of fun that we did, the kind of stuff that we did. And it's going to be a lot of fun for them. And it's very rewarding as an adult to think, wow, this is going to mean something to somebody someday.
For the past 2 years, Scouts Canada membership has begun to grow. But will this growth pattern continue? And can Scouting adapt while holding on to its identity?
I think it's positive. I think the Scouting outlook is positive for the future. We've got girls involved now, and there's a lot more moms coming out. So we're not excluding sort of half the population, and that's really positive. I think Scouting should be a whole family event.
I think we're looking at a growth pattern. I think Scouting is growing, and more people are getting back to realizing, hey, Scouting is still alive. We've got publicity happening more. I think we're definitely in a growth pattern and in a better place to grow the membership and spread our better world vision.
I'm incredibly optimistic about the future of Scouting. Over the last couple of years, I've witnessed the beginning of a transformation, and I think we've gone through a real period of self-reflection, of revitalization. And I think now we're laying the groundwork which will ensure that there is a bright future for Scouting for generations that aren't even born yet.
Scouting in Canada, even if it shrinks, I think it's always going to be there. And I think it has to be there. There's always going to be kids that need that interaction with others. You can't sit in the city all the time and not realize what nature has to offer out there. So there's going to be some kids that will continue to join, even if it's not as the numbers as it used to be. But I guess time will tell.
Absolutely.